the whole rotation thing, I would say the discs are fabulous information, because the minute you get on those rotation discs with the ball bearings in them, and you go into a plie, it's the coming back where you gain the information. So for years, I used discs, and I'll have people even get in a single file line, get in front of me, I'll get on the floor with them. And I'll ask them, not the moment going down, but straightening up. And they have to learn to use ground reaction force to press the discs farther away from the midline and add weight to the ground, which is another piece of disinformation in ballet of pulling up, because pulling up is not pulling up. It's actually use ground reaction force and the weight down so that you can elongate through the spine. So I'm getting too detailed here, which once you get me technical, it's over. I'm going to get under your fingernails and start pulling from the roots. So you asked me one question and it's gone off on 10 tangents. So basically, let's go back to this. You are taking the interior of the body and you are spinning it laterally and taking what used to be the inside to a frontal plane. And that's beautiful. And it's the same thing almost with the heart. I teach the heart almost like you're on a rotisserie and you rotate the heart forward. But you don't do it at the expense of the ribs. Another thing I talk about is the ribs. You're not a lobster waiting for butter. So this is quiet, but you have this rotisserie on top. So there are all these multiple loops of energy and spirals that would be involved in simple first position of when you come up. So when you come up from a plie, you're actually going this way. It's like you're spinning the trochanter towards the sit bone. And then it has to travel up through the entire chain here. Then the other piece of that is a tendu. Let's say you're doing tendu forward. I don't ask for a foot. I ask that from the sit bone through the bottom of the heel, the calcaneus, spins and then shears, almost like you want to shear, almost like you're going towards a third position. So to go tendu front, you don't actually do that. You actually keep the toes where they are and you shear the back of the ankle bone towards the inside of the other leg to proceed. So you're actually going, if it's fifth, you're going more fifth. It's like having one knee. But in first, you're actually shearing and spiraling out to go forward. So it's the leg that's pointing, it's not the foot that's preceding the leg. And the foot is the outcome of the bones being directed and the muscles turning. So tendu's not tendu. Tendu isn't be pretty, give me a pretty foot, and aren't you lucky you were born that way? No, it's understanding the intention and how it's the acorn before the tree. It's that simple and that interesting. We did a lot of tendus with Mr. B. You know, I've seen like some notes about the 64 tendus. Yes, that's good entrainment because it gets the brain out of the way into the tendu leg. But the how, on the nervous system level, if you go into that movement, it needs to be very slow. I think I said something about that kind of that Feldenkrais phase, because you need the awareness of the movement on your own, with your own, you have to be conversant with your own personal nervous system and the way that you learn at the pace that you learn, what I call actually emotional metabolism. Your own personal constitution and metabolism, not somebody else's, not what somebody wants for you, but what you are able to meet at the point at which you're hearing it. And you meet the material and you take it, you move it around in your mouth. Of course, you're moving it around in your body and you play with it. And I think Zippy, it's a little bit like what you were describing, like looking over at me, falling to the floor and doing my own thing, is some part of me, even though I was frightened or worried about how it was working for everybody else, some part of me was too interested in the experience I was having, not the experience I was supposed to have. So if I want to call it a gift, which to me is a quality. My husband calls me goofy and self-amused.
Mhm.
He'll look at me and I'll be doing something that I think is very normal, and
Mhm.
he'll be like laughing, because it's so particular to my own way of perceiving. And I don't know that that's in the slightest bit different from how it might be. I would suggest to everybody they start to tickle themselves from the inside out.
Mm.
They start to look at the voices that are perhaps running them and ask if those voices are voices they really want to live with and carry around on their back for those many years. It's like when you go into different kinds of studies, and you talk about shedding skins. If you were a snake, you want to leave that skin behind. What skin are you wearing now that you might be more ready than you can even say to yourself that you're ready to leave behind, that actually isn't yours?
Mm.